My name is David Yarborough, and I went to high school with Ricky Battle. For those of you who don't know me. We're here to celebrate Ricky Battle's life. Let there be no mistakes, this is a celebration of his life. And to see all of your faces here, you're all from different walks of his life. Some of you from Ellington, some of you from Howard, some of you co-workers, some of you just a random meet on U Street or Adams Morgan. All of the above. And I know that there are probably a lot of mixed emotions going on and questions, of course, but I think the biggest mixed emotion is, oh man, it's 26 years, right? But for those of us who do remember and know Ricky, know that I meant it when I said he's lived 2 lifetimes in one. And that we don't need to be reminded to live our lives from his afterlife when he reminded us every day with his life. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for supporting. Those of you who do know that we are still raising some funds for his arrangements online. If there's somebody here that you don't know, introduce yourself. Ricky was about bringing people together, connecting people. I know everyone here has at least 5 Ricky stories, if not 100. Keep them alive, especially that one. So tell them, keep him alive in your words, in your stories. And so again, thank you for coming. We have, sorry. I'd like to introduce a couple people. We're going to have some time to speak. If you'd like to say a few words, we'll have some time for that. But I'd like to introduce Ronald Newman, head of the Alumni Association here at the Ellington School of the Arts.
So guys, I didn't know Ricky, but I heard a lot of stories about Ricky, and I heard that he was quite the character. And I know when I was at Ellington, I was quite the character. Father Payne wasn't here then. But I do bring you, okay. I do bring you guys greetings from the Alumni Association, and those of you who are alum, I welcome you home. Those of you who are new, I welcome you to the Ellington experience. Just hearing what Davey said, Ricky was a person who believed in connecting. I'm here to say that the greatest way to remember Ricky is for you all to stay connected. Stay connected to your school, to the Alumni Association, to each other. That would be the greatest way for you to remember him. Again, I spent many years at Camp Moss Hollow in the last 6 years, so I heard a lot of Camp Moss Hollow stories. So I feel like I know him. I won't even go into it. You all know what I'm talking about. But it is really good to be here, and come back, you guys. This is our last year in the building before we renovate the building. So please come back and visit.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is John Payne, and I am the Dean of Students here at Duke Ellington School of the Arts. That was my title when Ricky was here. My title now is Director of Student Affairs. So, there's a few things that I have to say because they're important. First of all, it is amazing seeing all of you. And I look at some of you and I remember you when you were 14, 15, and bad as hell. And some of you, I'm not going to say who, I would chase through alleys in Georgetown. Some of you spent more time in my office than others. But all of you are part of this experience and have been a joy to get to know. As Ricky was an enormous joy to get to know. He was remarkable, he was fascinating. He was, every time, it was like something else. Something else. And Ricky and I actually became very close and very fond of each other. But the first time I met Ricky at Camp Moss Hollow, Ricky and I literally got into a fight. Because Ricky did what some of you have thought about doing, or thought about doing then. He hit me. He did. And I looked at the guy who ran the camp, because he was standing right there to make sure I had a witness, and I said, "Did you see him hit me?" He said yes, and I beat his ass. He went off into the fields. He came back. He stood next to me. I said, I ain't mad at you. What you gonna do? He said, stay. From that moment on, Ricky and I were friends. It wasn't perfect. There were some storms, there were some difficulties, there were all of those things. But every time I would see him after he left us, I knew that he had grown into a remarkable young man, and that the years and the experiences really meant something. Somebody said it earlier, we're here to celebrate, and that's definitely what we've got to do. His life ended way too soon. Way too soon. But you got to remember him and the incredible impact, and that smile and the impact he had on people, and the way he could walk into a room and just kind of, hey, let's go. Just like, so Ricky drew you in, and he's drawn us here tonight. I don't know what you believe. I don't know what anybody here believes. I know what I believe. I believe that our existence is so powerful, that who we are is so vital and important, that even when that thing called death touches us, it ain't over. So that energy that we know as Ricky has not ended. It's been transformed into something else. I don't know what, but I know that it has been transformed into something else. And so I want to celebrate Ricky. I want to thank the Creator for making him, and I want to thank the Creator for welcoming him home. So in silence now, let us be grateful for this brother's life. Let us be sad that he is gone, but let us always remember him with love.
It's very impromptu, but I'll do it the best that I can. I was one of those people who knew Ricky all of his life, from the time he was born to the time of his demise. I knew his mother when she was young, and we're all like closer than you can imagine. Ricky was a happy, joyful type person. He was able to spread it amongst other people. It was something that when he brushed across you, he left that little feeling with you, because it was just good to have been a part of his life. What I have to say is not to everybody here, but I need to say this to Joelle and Ronnie. When Ricky's mother passed, this became his new parents. And I can't tell you how much I love them for it. And I just hope that you can share their loss and their joy, because it's a loss that we're not going to have him here physically, but it's a joy to know that he'll know no more suffering. Thank you.
My name is Antonio. Ricky was my older brother. And I know y'all loved him as much as I did. He was a good person, man. He did everything for everybody before he took care of himself. And he was just a hard worker. I know he's laid to rest right now, and I just wanted to say something on his behalf. And I just appreciate y'all for getting all this together for him, to send him home right, and to support us, to keep us up, to keep us going. I just thank y'all for remembering him, and just for being there with him and with us. So, man, I'm strong, I'm okay. I just want y'all to know, man, I just appreciate y'all. And just keep them in y'all hearts and in y'all prayers, and everything will be just fine. So I just thank y'all once again.
It's not really a piece, but then it kind of sort of is a piece. When I got the news, I thought about my second to last conversation with Ricky, and we would have a lot of conversations. So this is what I came up with. It's titled Fearless. I would call Ricky and I say, I'm about to lose it. I can't figure out my disconnection. He would say, look, Harvey, before you can supply, you have to create the demand and worry about supply later. Take what you have into the boutiques. Write the buyers of the department stores. Find the offices. Talk, set up meetings. Put a presentation together. Go do it, Holly. I've seen you. You can sell anything. You can sell a pen to a homeless man. Stop with the friends. Step out, and you're going to make it. You have to be fearless, meaning to have balls of faith. Don't let fearlessness be stronger than your faith. So look, me and my friends. So he said, so me and my friends, we meet via telephone every week. You can chime in to get different ideas and inspirations for the things that you're going through. And this is the dedication to him. I don't have light. Sorry. He is my mentor, teacher, teaching me step by step, overcoming every fear with every project. Now I have to take the lessons and go out on my own. No more mentor, God told me in that moment. No, baby, no more. I need my angel back. He's giving you the power of using your faith. So go. I have something greater for him now. But hold to his teachings close to your heart. And all that you want to ask him, he's already said it. Be fearless.
Ricky, my very first day here at Duke Ellington School of Performing Arts. And one thing that I just wanted to say about Ricky is that beyond him always smiling, he always had a contagious smile. And one thing I loved about Ricky is he was everyone's best friend. And I remember one of the conversations that I had with Ricky, and I had a lot of insecurities with my craft here because as a freshman it was very intimidating, you know, to come in and you see people dancing in the hallways and poetry, and I just felt like I'm not going to grow here. And Ricky sort of pulled me to the side and was just telling me, you can be anything that you believe yourself to be. So if you doubt yourself, no one else is going to have faith in you because you don't have faith in yourself. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. I know we all come from different walks of life, and one thing I love about Ricky is he was just such a beautiful spirit. And you know, I recently lost someone this year, and I read a lot of poetry because of that. And one of the poems that I read, the last line has said, when someone passes away and you see yourself crying, look at your tears and realize that those tears aren't for the life lost, but for the memories that you will always retain. So I just wanted to share that.
I went to school with Ricky, and the first time I met him was on the bus to Camp Moss Hollow. I had the pleasure of sitting behind Ricky, and from the moment we got on the bus, he didn't want to be there. And he went to sleep, and almost there he woke up, and I was sitting next to a guy named Robert Hartwell, who had a very strong North Carolina accent. And I guess Robert's accent woke Ricky up. He was mad. And so he asked us, why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you wasting your time? You can be, summer's not over yet, why are you wasting your time? And I said, I don't really know. And he said, I want to be a singer, but I also want to save the world. And he said, save yourself, honey. I remember when we got off the bus, it was like day 2 in the trip, and the incident happened, and I said, did you really do that? He's like, uh-huh. And he was so happy, not happy, but he wanted us to know that you weren't going to walk all over him. And you could never walk all over Ricky. And I remember my junior year, he said, you still want to save the world? I said, you know what, not save the world, but I'm going to save somebody. I said, I want to be a firefighter. And he said, you're crazy as hell. And I said, maybe, but I think you are too. And then we walked away. And Ricky, my last conversation with him was maybe about 6 months ago through Facebook. And I remember sending him a message saying, remember that conversation we had in junior year? Well, it happened. I became that firefighter. And he was like, I can't believe it. And he all these pictures and all this craziness. But, you know, Ricky went through a transformation like the rest of us that went to school here. This experience taught us not only how to find ourselves, but also our purpose. No one comes to Ellington to serve themselves. Although we are very focused on our own craft, none of us come to this school to focus on ourselves. And Darren and I had a conversation today and said that some people may have not known Ricky, but you knew Ricky. You might not talk to him every day, but that's just one bond that we share here at Ellington. The common bond we share is that we all want to be here. And no one's going to take that from us. And so I'm pretty sure there are plenty of people out there who wish they could be here tonight, but I just hope he knows the impact he had on not just me, but the rest of us, but everyone else. And to his family, thank you for letting us share those moments with him.
Hi everybody, my name is Samson, and I knew Ricky, we were knowing each other for a long time, because he used to see me, and every time he saw me, he would say, "Bitch, we getting old." He was a joy to know, and we would just go out and hang out and everything, and he moved to San Francisco, and I used to call him, cuss him out, he would cuss me out, and he came back to visit, and the last time that I saw him, I was having, we all do these little weird things. I was having these little image issues, like I was scared to eat, and he would be like, "Bitch, eat a piece of bread, do something like that." And so I was scared to eat, because I've always like kind of watched my weight. So we were on the train one day, and he talked me into going to this soul food restaurant, and we ate about 3 or 4 plates in there. Like, we went in there and inhaled that chicken. And so I was waiting for him to come back so we could go back to that restaurant, and sadly I never got to go back there with him. So I'm gonna have to go have me a big old plate for him, and I'm gonna eat 2 or 3 for him. And this is really sad, because we just never know when we gonna leave, and like, it's just, there used to be a time when old people would leave, and it's just, now you just never know. And so we have to take care of each other, and like, just talk to each other a little bit better, treat each other a little bit better, and like, share the moments with people a little bit better. So like, go home and call people that you haven't talked to in a while. Like, stop texting, pick up the phone and call people sometime, and just enjoy each other. And the family, thank you all for having us here. If you need anything, you can see me, and like, I don't got a lot, but I'll share what I got. Thank you.
My name is Corinda. I'm Robin Marcus. I used to teach in literary media here. And Corinda was one of
her favorite student. That's what it was. And so my best friend is in New York. Her name is Cassell, and she really, really, really wish she could be here, but she can't. So she called me last Sunday. She gave me the news, and we immediately started talking about this story that dealt with this teacher and situation that broke out in class. And Miss Marcus likes Starbucks. Child, right?
I did.
Okay. Okay. So Ricky got into it with another classmate, and it was just a heated argument, and it went like, my alarm clock woke me up this morning, and Ricky was like, "No, God woke you up this morning," and I was like, I'm with Ricky, So, but he stood on top of the table and he started stomping, and her child knocked over, and all you heard was, "My child, my child, who's gonna buy me another child?" So, although, they got into it and everything, Ricky was loved by everybody. He wasn't even in our class. I don't even know. Yes, when he first got there, okay, because I was like, he's 04. But anyway, regardless of the fact, we love Ricky, and we just wanted to share that story.
I got another Ricky story, Corinda, because I don't know if I sent a note to my cousin. I don't know if that person is here tonight, but Ricky came to Howard where I was teaching full-time and working here part-time, and he took my class, and he failed my class, and then he took my class over, and he got a B. I don't remember what he got, but he just had that kind of determination and strong spirit. Just because we knew each other, he wasn't going to be able to walk through the class. Just because I really was fond of Ricky, and who wasn't, didn't mean that he was going to even pass the class. But he came in and said, I know I messed up. That's not me exactly what he said. I know I messed up. He took the class over. He helped us with not your year, Corinda, but the next year. He worked with that class on their program, on their production. He told me he was going to work for Oprah. He had big dreams, and he had big potential. And I told him all the time, as I told student after student after student, you can do this. You can do whatever you put your mind to, and And he had conquered a couple big cities. So I think one of the messages that I'm taking away from this is, you know, again, and even at my age, and I told one of your colleagues that he's my age now. You're also old. You're up with me. Probably got gray hair. Life is short. Let the past forget about things that you can't do anything about. Live each day to its fullest. And don't just see each other at moments like this. I know some of you all are staying in touch, but the brother who said, stop texting, get off the text, and actually have a moment of real human connection with each other. I think we will be really honoring Ricky's wonderful memory.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Sabrina.
And right now, you see the balloons in the air. Basically, in each balloon, there is a quote from Ricky's Facebook or his Twitter or whatever we can find. And right now, we want to release those into the air. So if we can do that.
Just listen. Might have to step from
Yeah,
it's like a,
well, maybe that means to stick around for
He's getting ready to quote.
I was just thinking, somebody turn the lights off.
Yeah, just a second.
Power went off, I mean.
We also wanted to thank everyone for donating to aid his funeral thus far. Thank you all so much. Online, we're about halfway there. But tonight also, if you would like to donate cash and checks, Reggie back there, he has a basket where you can donate as well. And just want to thank you all so much for coming out. Ricky would have loved this. I know that he's looking down and he's saying, those are my people. And I thank you all for doing this for me, because he would have done the same for us. So thank you all.
I'm so not the, hey, let's talk about stuff. But I'm going to speak to Ricky's resourcefulness. And I kind of date myself. I don't know how many of you knew Ricky when he had his little PT Cruiser. Okay. So I don't know if this speaks to my stupidity or Ricky's just genius, but somehow he got me to ride in the car with him. And his bumper was literally, it was held together with some gum, some rubber bands, and like some hair bows.
Did Little Prince move, get out the way, come on?
Yes, and then he was dangerous with that song. Like he had some pent up aggressions and he just, it's like doing 80 on like a street that was probably 25 as his bumper was held together with some rubber bands. So I'm like, okay, Ricky, you want to slow down. And you know, Ricky, that's just not him. He's not taking direction very well. Like slowing down is not something that he was going to do. And I'm like, he hit like something in the road. And I'm like, this car is going to fall apart. Like, really, it's really just going to fall apart. And Ricky was like, no, we're just going to keep riding. And I'm like, Ricky, where are we going? He was like, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, I'm just in this car. I don't know where I'm going. And I'm just like, well, Ricky is genius. And he's not going to let nothing happen to me. He's not. Oh, wow. So, I mean, clearly we got to wherever we was going okay. And I'm just like, really, this boy is genius, like gum. And who would have thought it? And it held together until he got rid of that little PT Cruiser and got something a little better. It was still a hoopty, though. But he moved up further, and I'm like, and I'm thinking like, Ricky is younger than me. Why does he have a car? Really? But that's okay. I mean, you know, it was Ricky, and it was just great. And I know that even though he's not here, he still affected a lot of people, and his resources are still, you know, affecting people. And this is my little plug. Hey, resources, we really need it. I know that the donations thing online says 6,000. I'm pretty sure that's going to increase tonight. So really, when I'm speaking to, hey, let's get to Ricky's resources and try to, I don't know if you've been sending out links or letting people know, but if you haven't, if you could start, if you could do it with some quickness too, because time is slowly coming to the close where we kind of need it. Donations would be really helpful to make things happen. So every little bit helps. I know people are doing like $20 here. People are, you know, who have it are like $500 there. So whatever you can do, it would be great. Thanks. And clearly we can still keep talking. If I know somebody back here just wanted to say something.
Well, I was Ricky's little cousin. I really didn't get to see him. I was Ricky's little cousin. I didn't get to see him on a regular basis like I wanted to, so I really didn't know him that well. But when I did get to see him, it was fun and stuff like that. And it just make it better to cherish the moments that he lived on.
I was trying to give everyone a chance to, speak and, open up the floor. I really appreciate Reggie and Sarita and a couple people, other people who helped put this together. As we know, Ricky knows. I'm sorry, I'm Risha, for those who don't know, Ricky's cousin. To try to get this out because we know at the funeral, we won't have a chance to open up the floor and let everyone speak. So I am really, 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 really appreciative of this. It's been a journey for myself, his brother, and my grandmother, as well as the family. My grandmother's not here tonight because we ran her ragged in Florida. She is beat down. She said, y'all going without me. I'll just sit here and wait for y'all to get back. She's tired. My grandmother is 72, and this is actually this is a lot for her. Ricky and I had our own little bond. I'm a little older than Ricky. My sister and I are the oldest grandkids. Ricky was our first. We were all first cousins. Ricky and I had a special bond. With me being one of the oldest, Ricky being a little younger, we will always talk about work, school. I love school, so I always try to push for that and everything like that. Ricky and I talked heavily about what it is that he wanted to do in life, how he was going to, accomplish that. Of course, me being the one to push him, like, you better get back in there, you better do this, you better do that, don't stop, don't let nobody get on your nerves, suck it up, take it, do it until you get to where you need to be. Workaholic, of course. When we were in Florida, he was working, actually, even when he was sick. Of course, we found that out. But this whole ordeal has been really, really hard for our families. Words can't even express how this has really taken a toll on us. So we appreciate you all coming out, again, the donations, and just the support as a whole. When we went to Florida, he only had been in Florida, for those who may or may not know, only for a month and a half, roughly. They welcomed us like he was working there for years. They had a memorial for him there. They gave us funds to help with the burial service. They kept in contact. They treated us as if Ricky had been there for years, and that was just so, I don't know, words can't even imagine. The memorial service that they had for him was more than what we actually even anticipated. It was actually really wonderful. I don't really have much more to say besides thank you all for coming out. We truly appreciate everything that you all have done thus far. If you all need to keep in contact with any of us, the majority of us are on Facebook. His brother doesn't have a Facebook account, so if you all need to reach his brother, I'll be more than happy to relay a message to him. But thank you very much for all your help. Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name's Adam. I was one of Ricky's friends. I met him at Howard. This whole week has been I'm in like a dream sequence right now, and like none of this seems real, so I wasn't sure if I was going to say anything, but I know that I just want to have something be said in his honor. That's, just to add to what everyone else is saying, because everyone else is mentioning how great he is, and they're absolutely right, and I just want to put something else on top of that pile. I met Ricky as a freshman at Howard. We both lived in Drew Hall. It was the boys' dorm, and we had our little crew running around there, and I just remember we would pile into Ricky's very small single dorm because very few freshmen had single rooms. Ricky was like, I'm not room with nobody and I want my own space. So it was about that big, but 5 or 6 of us would pile in there, and I'm pretty sure that's just how Ricky always lived his life as long as I knew him. He always did whatever he wanted. Sometimes I would try to be the voice of reason. one day we were in there and I was like, what's in that box in your bed? He's like, oh, it's my cat. And I was like, you have a cat in your freshman dorm? And he was like, yeah, her name's Sister Girl. And I was like, okay. You know, what happens if they find her? It was like, what's going to happen if they find her? And so, I mean, he's the only person I could think of that had me on like the highway on his little Vespa that did not have a back seat. And I was on the back of the Vespa hoping that Jesus just took the wheel and helped us. You know, just, I can't even put into words just how he lived his life to the max. Like, whatever you want to do, he did. If you were along for the ride, you were along for the ride. If not, he said, well, then I'll see you later. I'm going to keep doing what I do. He had a lot of love for his family, and I knew that just from talking to him and like having gotten to visit them every once in a while. He got me my first job when I was a college student. He called me from his job and was like, hey, this is my manager, talk to her, she's going to give you a job. And I was like, oh great, I need one. And he was like, in the background, he's like, yeah, his name's Adam, just hire him, he'll work. And I'm like, my mouth is getting really dry, so excuse me. You know, I just basically want to say that Ricky was one of my personal heroes, you know, and so when I heard the news, it was just out of this world because, you know, he was more like a superhero to me, in fact. And I'm just thankful for the time that I had with him and all the memories that I had with him, and I know everyone else would say the same. And I love that guy very much, and I'm going to miss him for the rest of my life. So.
But I knew Ricky through my friend Nadia, and I had known him since we were teenagers or whatever. And he just, I don't know, we were always really cool and passing in the last few years. Like, we were Facebook friends. Everything was basically surrounding Nadia, our friendship, until I went out to Cali. I went out to San Fran, like, in February or March, and that day Ricky picked me up from the airport for Nigeria. He had this little Miata. I had this huge suitcase. Like, I don't know how we worked it out, but we worked it out. We go to Nigeria's house. We get caught in like a drive-by shooting. Like, it was a shootout on her block. So the rest of the day, we like kiki. We talked about how Nigeria think like she lives in like the Logan Circle of where she lives, when really she lives in like the 640. And so after that, like, we spent the whole day together. We go to like this furniture store. Again, Ricky has this little Miata, and he's like, oh, he about to get a new table set, a new chair, all this shit like he's putting on this Miata. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. And so after that, like, we were friends on our own. It was no longer just like, okay, we're mutual friends. So Ricky would send me stuff to edit, and we would keep in contact. And most recently, a few weeks ago, he was like, little girl, stop playing with me, get in contact with me. And Ricky was like concerned about which direction I was going in professionally, because I had like started a little business or whatever, didn't work out. I was in New York, I was thinking about going to LA, and Ricky was like, you need to be serious, you need to be stable, you need to get a profession. And so he was like, you about to come down here to Miami, you about to get this job, I'm gonna put you on, cut the cutesy shit, and be a grown woman. And like, I called Nigeria and I was like, Ricky told me about myself, but he also was like, we about to do A, B, and C. And I was like, I really didn't know that, like, we knew each other for years, but I didn't really know he messed with me on that level. And when I found this news out, like, it just really like shook me, because I admired Ricky, I respected him, but when I gave him his 10s, a lot of times I gave him to Nigeria. Like, I didn't tell him how I really felt about him, because it was always this, Ricky felt like I was acting like a little girl, I was doing this, I was doing that. And I want to say to his family, like, a lot of people like that come from where we come from, like they strive to be like hood stars, but Ricky, to me, like he was hood royalty, and I'm not being funny, I'm serious. And because what I really admired about Ricky was that like I didn't have to explain myself to him. Like we spoke the same language, he could kiki, and he could be really professional. He could be educated, he could have any conversation, and like it was just rare where it's like me, him, and Nigeria, like coming from where we come from, we can be who we are, we can stay authentic to who we are, and still be us. And I really admired that about Ricky, like as a man, because you know he was gay, but he was a man. And me and Nigeria always talk about that, like Ricky was a man. Like if he wasn't gay, like you would want to be with him. And so that's all I had to say.
Hi everybody, my name is Reggie. If you ever lost a mother, a sister, a brother, a grandmother, a friend, a teacher, an associate, if anyone that you know that's passed and they meant something to you, that's what Ricky meant to me. There's not 1,000 words that I can say that to show how he meant to me. I can stand here all day and tell you everything that we did together, all the experiences that we had, the conversations that we had. And for me, I can say that he was such a wonderful person. Words show his actions today. As the family and myself and Ricky's closest friends, Ricky can say he had 1,000,001 friends. Everyone would say that, oh, that was my best friend. But to me, he was everything to me. He was everything to me. I know him for like 12 years. And there was times where we were up and there was times where we were down. And there were times where we wasn't in sync with each other. When we first met each other, we hated each other's guts. And we began to love each other, care for each other, and it grown into something bigger than just a friendship. It growed into a bond. It growed into something that we knew each other's past, we knew each other's futures. And to lose someone like Ricky, I sometimes I just sit back and think I've lost the world. My family, I've always knew Ricky's family, but I know them so much now than I did in the past. There was events that we went to and he'll introduce me, oh, this is this person, this is that person. But I would always say, Ricky, you just know too many people. I'm like, you are the welcome wagon. I called him the welcome wagon. We lived together. When Ricky's head was hard on hard times, he said, Reggie, I am determined to finish school. I said, anything I can do, let's do it. He was like, boom, 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 boom. I'm doing it. He moved in with me, and I was like, I never lived with anybody before, but living with Ricky, it was crazy. I would walk into my house and I'm like, okay, nice to meet you, I'm such and such, and he would be like, I'm like, Ricky, who's that? What's that? And he's like, oh, you know such and such. I'm like, no, I don't know. But Ricky, I have to tell you guys that in Ricky's last days here on this earth, he told me that, you know what, I'm at the level in my life where I have to do something bigger than what I've done before. And I tell him all the time, at 26, there's not many people that do what you do. So keep doing it. And I just want to say to all of you guys that he talked about each and every one of you. I know some of you by faces, some of you by names. I'll meet you on the street or he'll introduce me to you. And it was just something about him, and I say, wow. Now I think back and say, wow, the welcome wagon was for a mission, and that mission is accomplished. God bless you guys.
I
I'm probably going to yell for 2 reasons. 1, to make sure everyone can hear me, and 2, to make sure I don't cry. Me and Ricky heard about each other before we met each other. Because Howard's campus is big, although it's small. And people on Howard's campus are very busy, so sometimes their schedules conflict. Breeze would always say, you have got to meet Ricky. I just need y'all in the same room, because y'all are so much alike. And I would be like, who is this Ricky? Do you know Ricky? Do you know Ricky? Do you know Ricky? Everybody knew Ricky. But wherever I was, Ricky was not. It took about 14 days for me to find, and it was long because the more I heard about Ricky, I needed to know who Ricky was. It could have been homecoming marshals. I didn't know who came for homecoming. I was looking for Ricky because it was something about Ricky that I needed to meet Ricky. But when I first met Ricky, there was a controversy. Not involving Ricky, let's be clear, not involving him. But I learned that he and I were both security. We were both from the city. We were both very open and proud of the people that we were. And if you had a problem, we were very willing to solve it. And anybody directly near us who had a problem and you decided you had a problem with them, that's fine. Call me and let me know. Point them out. Oh, okay. Once me and Ricky finally met each other, he did this, explaining to me about the controversy that caused me to want to look for him. And I said, oh, really? That's what happened. And he said, girl, yes. He was very mad. He sounded like he was from where I was from, but he enunciated the whole entire story like it was Shakespeare. And he didn't sit down, and he was just like, and they were just like, where's Ayana? And I'm like, I don't know who Ayana is, but I'm here, and what's the problem? I loved him from that day on because nobody understood us. We understood each other and nobody cared. Me and Ricky got to the point where if it was a problem, we just pointed and we sat down and we waited. The last conversation I had with Ricky had finally come to see my apartment. I lived in my apartment for 4 years before Ricky finally saw my apartment. And it's cool because Ricky was busy and I knew he had things to do. It wasn't personal, it was business. When he came over, he said, girl, this is over. And I felt proud of myself. Many people had come to my house and told me it was nice, but I never really felt like my house was legitimately nice. It was like HGTV had said this one. Yeah. So he began to talk to me, and I'm learning now, like he did with everyone, about what I was doing at this point and what I wanted to do next. I was starting a business, it was going somewhere, and he let me know I was on my way to the next level. And I needed to cut some people off, change some things about myself, and believe in myself. And told me I could have died and what was wrong with me was life-threatening. And when I came out the hospital, they told me Ricky was gone. I didn't put up a Facebook status. I haven't tweeted anything because at the end of the day, Ricky was everything. And it wasn't a word or a tag or a picture that I could put up that we're not guaranteed another minute. God don't owe us nothing, but we owe the Most High everything. Ricky was one of the most passionate, sincere people I will ever know. And a lot of people are intimidated and scared of passion and sincerity because they don't possess it. So if Ricky ever meant anything to you, be passionate and sincere about something in your life from this day forward. Believe in something from this day forward. Even if you don't believe in yourself, know that Ricky believed in you and do something with yourself. If it's paint the lines on the street with sidewalk chalk, know that he is cheering you on. Live the life
you would know that he would be proud of and be your best self. All I have to say is, why weren't you at the meeting? There were so many closeted gays at Howard that when we would go to Blagosa, we would know people were gay. We were sleeping with them. We were partying with them. We knew they were gay, but they wouldn't come to the meeting. And we would say it quietly amongst ourselves. It was a joke. That was how we outed people we knew were gay. We would just be like, why wasn't she at the meeting? Laugh, carry on. But when Ricky and I got full, we would point to people, just walk up to them in the cafeteria and see them on the yard. So hey, why weren't you at the meeting? And he would point if he was across the yard, or I would point at him, and everybody would laugh at us. And they would breathe, sweet breeze. She would be like, one day y'all are gonna start a fight. And we were like, that's fine. So with that being said, every time you look around and something ain't quite right, just ask, why weren't you at the meeting? You didn't get the memo. Nobody let you know. That's it.
I was asked to close the night, so if anybody else wanted to say anything, I wanted to be sure they had an opportunity to do that first.
My name is Eric. I'm Ricky's brother. We didn't grow up in the same house together. I remember meeting him later in life. One of my earliest memories is I was at my cousin's Tasha house and over on K Street, and he comes in and he has like this Erykah Badu head wrap on, and then, I don't know what kind of phase he was going through or what side of himself he was portraying at the time, and he came in and he had Coco with him, and Coco was this like drag queen cross-dresser boy, and Coco has like these braids in his hair, her hair, whatever. And I just thought, like, who is this guy? Like, he's my brother. Like, where's he been all my life, man? Like, it was just very surreal. And like, when I found out about what happened with Ricky, it was actually through a friend. She called me. She knew that we were brothers, and she said, "Hey, what's going on with Ricky?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And I was out eating a burger. And she's like, well, people are writing all over his Facebook wall, rest in peace, and I just had no clue that anything was wrong with him. And so I called around and got in touch with some people that confirmed that he had moved on. And I was just stuck, and I've been kind of stuck in this weird space for the past couple days. The entire week since I found out, I don't know. He was amazing. He was very passionate, and he loved everything he did. He made sure that everybody else was on track and made sure that they were very focused. Just don't forget to tell people that you love them. You never know when you'll see them again or hear from them again, and it's just very important that you say that.
Okay. Hi everybody, I am Breeze, and Ricky was probably one of the first people I met when I got here to DC from St. Louis and moved to Howard, and he was definitely the person who changed my opinion of people from DC. Because when I first got here from St. Louis, I don't know how many of you know people who moved here from further south. I just thought everybody was angry. And I didn't understand why people looked at me crazy when I said hi in the street. And Ricky was the first person from DC I met who said hi back. Rather than looking at me like, why are you talking to me, stranger? And we met in line at this stupid entrepreneurial boot camp thing they made all freshmen do. And we were in line to ask the same question, ironically. And we both sat through the entrepreneurial boot camp, and we wanted to know, they talked so much about for-profit businesses, and we both were standing in line, and they said they weren't going to get to our questions, so of course we turned and wanted to share it with each other, and we both wanted to know about how to start a nonprofit, because Ricky really wanted to help people. And that was something that we shared. And throughout our friendship, we've lived together, we've worked together. And when I talked to one of his friends on Sunday night. I didn't know, there are no words this week adequate to express what any of us are feeling. But I tried to find some, and Ricky and I shared a love for literature. And so this is a book by Maya Angelou. It's called Letters to My Daughter. And I felt like I needed some words, and this piece is called Condolences. For a too brief moment in the universe, the veil was lifted. The mysterious became known. Questions met answers somewhere behind the stars. Furrowed brows were smoothed, and eyelids closed over long, unblinking stares. Your beloved occupied the cosmos. You awoke to sun rays and nestled down to sleep in moonlight. All life was a gift open to you and burgeoning for you. Choirs sang to harps and your feet moved to ancestral drum beats, for you were sustaining and being sustained by the arms of your beloved. Now the days stretch before you with the dryness and sameness of desert dunes. And in this season of grief, we who love you have become invisible to you. Our words worry the empty air around you, and you can sense no meaning in our speech. Yet, we are here. We are still here. Our hearts ache to support you. We are always loving you. You are not alone. Tonight, I discovered that the one thing that could comfort all of us right now, more so than those types of words, is that sort of reality. And that's what this is tonight. We're all grieving, we're all celebrating, and we're all here together, so none of us have to be alone. And I think that would make Ricky smile, and it's making him smile right now. So thank you for being here for me, and thank you for being here for each other. And hug somebody before you leave.
Lastly, we have these cups in our hands. Ricky's store manager from Starbucks donated cups and chai tea because that was his favorite tea. So we didn't have enough this time, but we'll have more for the other events that we'll have. So we just wanted you all to have these as a memory of Ricky. Thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you.